Go and take down your favorite pan, the stainless one, the good one, and turn it over in the light. No, you know what you are going to see. The bottom is burnt black and brown, layer on layer of scorch that not this soap has ever touched. No, tip it back over, and there inside is that strange rainbow stain, blue and gold and purple, shimmering like oil on water. It appeared one day after supper, and it never left. No, and there is the burnt patch in the middle from the night the rice caught, the one you scrubbed it until your arm gave out. Somewhere along the way, you looked at that pan and thought the quiet thought, it is ruined. No. Maybe you have already priced a new one. Mija, put your wallet away and sit down, because I have to tell you something about that pan that nobody ever told you. It is not ruined. No, not the rainbow, not the burn, not the black bottom. Not one of those marks is death. No. They are 3 different marks with 3 different causes, and each one has its own old cheap fix. The whole rescue cost you less than $3. No. A good stainless pan is meant to last your whole life and your children's after you. And the only reason you were ready to bury yours is that nobody ever taught you what those marks actually are. No. My name is Berta, and the old ways of keeping a house are what I share here. This is the way my mother and my grandmother kept a kitchen, where a pan was bought once, cared for forever, and handed down like it deserved. No. It is the plain knowing that used to pass from a mother to a daughter, and it has quietly gotten lost. No. And quick, before we start, you have heard me mention in my other videos the book I just released, La Casa Limpia. No. It is everything from these free videos plus the private knowing I do not share here, all written down in one place. The recipes, the mixes, everything. No. Scan the little code at the top right or get it at berteclients.com. Now let me show you. No. Let me start with the everyday washing, because that is where pans are quietly ruined or quietly saved. After every use, warm water, a little dish soap, and a soft non-scratch sponge. No. That is all. But hear the warning inside that, because this is the one mistake that truly is forever. No. Never ever take the rough green and yellow scouring pad to a stainless pan, and never use steel wool on the cooking surface. No. Those scratch the steel, and a scratch does not wash out, does not polish out, and does not ever leave. It will not poison your food, and a scratch pan still cooks, but the mirror finish you loved is gone for good. No. Use a soft sponge, always. And when a bit of food is stuck on stubborn, do not claw at it with metal. A little plastic scraper, the flat kind that costs $1, pops it right off without leaving a mark. No. Hair is one small habit that separates a shining pan from a dull one. Do not leave it to drip dry on the rack. Dry it with a towel right away the minute it is rinsed. No. Water left to dry on steel leaves its minerals behind as cloudy spots. You have seen them. No. A pan towel dry in 10 seconds stays bright as the day it was bought. My mother never once left a wet pan on the rack, and her pans looked new for 30 years. No. Now, the burnt on food. The night the rice caught. The crust that laughs at your sponge. Here is the old trick, and it is almost embarrassing how easy it is. You do not scrub a burnt pan. No. You simmer it, put enough water in the pan to cover the burnt bottom, add a few drops of dish soap, just a few, and set it on the stove at medium heat. No. Then you walk away and let it simmer for 10 or 15 minutes. If you stand and watch, you will actually see it happen. No. The burnt crust loosens its grip and lifts up off the steel in sheets and flakes, like ice coming off a pond. The heat and the water are undoing the bond for you. No. The very same heat that welded that food on is what unwelds it. Then patience, Mija. No. Take it off the heat and let it cool before your hands go near it. Once it is cool, the softened burn wipes and scrubs away like it was never there. No miracle product, water, soap, and heat. No. Your grandmother knew this the way she knew her own name. No. Now, the rainbow. That shimmer of blue and gold inside the pan that looks like something is terribly wrong. Let me set your heart at ease first. It is not damaged, it is not dangerous, and it is not in your food. No. It has a name, heat tint. When the pan gets too hot, the steel breathes out a whisper-thin layer of oxide onto its own surface, thinner than a soap bubble. No. And that thin layer catches the light and splits it into a rainbow, the same way oil on a puddle does. No. It is chemistry showing off, nothing more. And the fix is the gentle old acid that lives in your cupboard, white vinegar. No. Mix vinegar and water, half and half, right in the pan. Many times, the moment the vinegar touches it, you will watch the rainbow simply dissolve and vanish before your eyes, like a spell being lifted. No. If yours is stubborn, set the pan on the stove and let that vinegar water simmer for 10 or 15 minutes. Let it cool, rinse it, and dry it. No. Gone. The acid dissolves that whisper of oxide, and under it, the bright steel was there all along. And now the bottom, the black, scorched, shameful bottom that you keep turned away from company? No. First, let me answer the voice in your head that says, who cares? No food touches the bottom. Here is who cares, your stove. No. If you have a glass cooktop, that crusted carbon on the pan bottom is what grinds against the glass and scratches it. We talked about that last time. No. And the bottom caked and burnt grease does not sit flat and does not carry heat evenly. So your pan develops hot spots and your food cooks uneven. The bottom matters. No. For the bottom, you need one thing, and it costs about $2, and it is the same old friend from the bathtub video. The old scouring powder built on oxalic acid? No. The one sold in the little can that your grandmother kept under the sink. That acid is the whole secret. It dissolves burnt grease and browned on carbon in a way no soap can. No. It is the way of it. Wet the bottom of the pan, sprinkle the powder over it generously, and then follow the same law as always. Let it sit and work. No. Give it a minute at the least and up to 5 for a truly black bottom, but no longer, because this powder is strong and it does not need all day. No. Then scrub with your non-scratch sponge and watch decades of scorch come off gray onto the sponge. Rinse it well, dry it, and turn that bottom to the light. You will not believe it is the same pan. No. And let me save you from the famous hacks while I am here, because I know you have seen them. The oven cleaner trick? No. Yes, it strips the grease, and it can also tarnish and stain the metal itself. So you trade a dirty pan for a damaged one. No. And the ketchup trick, where you smear tomato on it overnight? No. Yes, tomato is a weak acid. And yes, it sort of works if you enjoy scrubbing 4 times as long for a worse result. The $2 powder does in 3 minutes what the ketchup does in an hour. No. The old women did not play games with condiments. They had the right powder and they use it. Now let me say the quiet word about who profits from your not knowing all this. No. Walk through the cookware aisle and look at the prices. $60, $100, $200 for a good stainless pan. No. The whole business runs on one belief. They are very happy for you to hold that a pan that looks ruined is ruined. The rainbow looks ruined. The black bottom looks ruined. The burnt crust looks ruined. No. And so the pan goes in the trash and the new one comes home every few years forever. No. Nobody at that store is going to lean over and tell you that the rainbow wipes off with vinegar, that the burn simmers off with soap and water, that the black bottom dissolves under a $2 powder. No. Because the moment you know that, you never buy a pan again. You already own a pan for life. There is no money in a pan that lasts 50 years, Mija, and every fix I gave you today costs less than the tax on a new one. No, your grandmother had 2 or 3 pans her whole life, and she would no sooner have thrown one away for a stain than thrown away a child for a scraped knee. No. She simmered off the burns, kept the little can of powder under the sink, and dried every pan with a towel before it was put away. Her pans outlived her stove. No. So here are the small habits, all together. Wash it soft, never with the scratchy pad, never with steel wool. No. Dry it with a towel the moment it is rinsed. When something burns, simmer it off instead of scrubbing your arm to death. No. When the rainbow comes, use a splash of vinegar. And once in a while, when the bottom builds up, use the $2 powder with a few minutes of patience. No, do those. And the pan you almost threw away this year will be the pan your daughter argues over someday? No. So here is what I would ask of you. Go and take that ruined pan, the one at the back of the cupboard you stopped using, and simmer the burn off it. No. Wipe the rainbow away with vinegar and bring the bottom back with the powder. No. Then come back and tell me in the comments how old that pan is and what it looks like now, because I love nothing more than hearing that a pan someone had given up for dead is back on the stove where it belongs. No. And tell me your county too. I read every one. And if you want it all written down in one place, the book is there for you. Scan the code at the top right or go to berthaclayens.com. No. Next time, I will take you down to the floors under your feet and show you why your mop is mostly pushing dirty water from one end of the house to the other. No. And the old way to get a floor truly clean without buying a single new gadget. But today you start with the pan you had given up on. You simmer the burn loose instead of scrubbing. No. You melt the rainbow with a splash of vinegar. You bring the black bottom back with the old $2 powder and a little patience. And you dry it with a towel and put it away bright the way it deserves. No. The women who kept their homes with their own two hands bought a pan once and kept it for a lifetime because they knew that almost nothing on good steel is truly ruined. They are only marks waiting for the right old fix. No. And that is a thing we are only just starting to remember.